In your chairs, you'll find an agenda of why this meeting was called and what the topics of discussion will be. You're not limited to this, of course. We want your feedback. We want you to participate because we want to know how you feel about these programs that are now in Ward F operating and who knew about it.
And your name is?
My name is Joan Terrell. I'm just a nosy citizen. And I just got some objections about things that are put into our community and we don't have any say-so, no input, nobody comes to talk to us about what they're going to do, who's going to be doing it, and how long. We are all aware of Martin's Place, which is at the hub. Apparently this new addition at Sacred Heart is an expansion from the hub. So my question is, well, do we really have any data on the hub, what they've been doing, how many people have been serviced, how many jobs have been obtained, so that they can now claim to expand? Anything about these programs in our neighborhood? Anybody know anything?
What's your name?
Bruce Olson. What I can say about Martin's Place is that we were sold that this was supposed to be the re-entry place. It also was claimed that Martin's Place was supposed to be where the public safety director's office was going to be. Okay. We all know the public safety director basically has never really physically moved there. He's had meetings there, but he doesn't operate there anymore. So what happened now was the state of New Jersey came across this grant that Integrity House, who is in partnership with Martin's Place, really, they have the substance abuse counseling, needed a way how they can get this $4.2 million grant from the state of New Jersey. Now, a little history in this is this, though. Before McGreevey became the head of Jersey City Employment and Training, he worked for Integrity House.
Yeah, he still does. He still does.
So when he leaves it, so what happens now, when you leave Integrity House, he opens up Martin's Place, right? If you go over to Martin's Place, you'll see even on the windows, Integrity House.
That's right.
So Integrity House uses Martin's Place as basically an extension of an office for them, like a community office for them. So what happens now is this $4.2 million grant is available from the state of New Jersey, but the key about this grant is that Jersey City Employment and Training legally can only deal with the residents of Jersey City. That grant is for the residents of Hudson County. So now what you have going on at Sacred Heart Priority is that you're going to have residents throughout the Hudson County that are going to be able to come in and do a reentry program. So basically what has happened now is, you'll see in the next 6 months, McGreevey will leave. McGreevey will leave because of the fact is though, McGreevey is making deals where he is going around the country now as the face of reentry. So that's when you saw the big ribbon cutting thing, and that you got the national leaders and everybody in, is that really the reentry program has been here for years. I mean, there's been a form of it in the Jersey City Employment and Training, right? But it's never really been funded this way.
The reentry program you're talking about is the one that they had at Hudson County Jail.
Exactly. So we've really had a form of it, really. So now, what it is, it's a play. It's a play where they needed there were certain parts of this grant, it needed to be in an urban community. There was a certain amount of demographics to apply for this grant. I'm told, and I don't know how true it is that the mayor's grant office basically maybe assisted them in writing and applying for this grant. But, you know, McGreevey, I mean, he has a relationship with the governor, got with Integrity House. They said that they even brought in the pastor from St. Pat's. Sheila, he thanked Sheila at the grand opening. Yeah. So he facilitated to get them Sacred Heart. So now it's a thing of $4.2 million. What I've been told, the question too is though in priority, when they did the construction, it was done without any permits. It was done with, basically it was done in the blink of an eye. Now, the one thing I want to say that everybody should be made aware of is this though. Diane Coleman said something very key in her statement. She said she asked McGreevey Why wasn't she informed? Why wasn't the community? And he said he did not want public opposition to it.
Yes.
Because Integrity House previously had tried to put this
On Storms and different
Storms
ones.
Avenue.
Exactly.
That's right.
And the residents at Storms Avenue said no.
Well,
So,
and I'm gonna leave it like this. The one thing I think that if you're gonna attack this, you need to attack this in 3 levels. Number one, there's no way that a not-for-profit.
don't say you gonna.
No.
We.
I said we should attack it in 3 ways. Is that number one, this is the only not-for-profit agency that I know in Jersey City that is getting sweetheart deals with this administration. You don't renovate a not-for-profit agency's building with $600,000 given away. Then I'm told they're not even making lease payments on that rental space over there, where the Ponderosa is with $20,000. So number 2 is when the city brought him in to run this agency, there should have been a timeout period. He should not have been able to bring his former employer in to work in concert with them. It seems like there would be a conflict there. All right. Number 3 is who are they servicing? Are they people from the community being serviced? Who are they going to service over at Sacred Heart? And the other thing is the pressure on the archdiocese. Was the archdiocese misled and believed that the city in some way has been given, took in the community support? Where they pitched it wrong. Was the archdiocese pitched, well, the community's behind us, they want this, and maybe that's why the archdiocese said, go ahead and do it.
Well, let me respond to that, Bruce. The archdiocese, this is Bishop Myers here, y'all gonna let me stand up, and Father Shoah. Father Shoah has been in on a whole bunch of sweetheart backdoor deals since I was a little girl. That's what he does. He is a millionaire multiple times on the backs of the inner city poor people. Jim McGreevey and Sheila together, for those who don't know, Jim McGreevey was born a parishioner of St. Patrick's. That's where his family comes from. So there's a connection there. Now this Father Myers, we're talking about the Catholic Church, people, like it or not. Greatest monopoly in the world. They kill each other to be in control. So what do you think about us? So Bruce, they didn't have to pitch them too much of anything, because you see what Jersey City is, especially Ward F, we're a cash cow. Because once again, they figure they can do anything they want to do to us, and we say nothing.
Okay, so we're going to add on another building to the list. 73 Boxwood Avenue. It's an apartment building with 6 apartments. I'm looking for a place to live, so I don't want to leave from around here. I went down the street, I'm nosy, man cutting the grass. I said, ooh, you have any empty apartments? He said, no. I said, well, how many apartments here? He said 6, they're 3 bedrooms. I said, well, why you're not renting? It's we are ex-cons. This is a building for ex-cons. So when did that building sneak in? You don't just step in somebody's doorstep and don't ask, is it okay? I feel like this here, since the mayor, I don't call him, I call him C-Fop. That's how I call him, C-Fop. He flops. First of all, he does not like Ward F. And I'm not knocking Ms. Coleman, but I will not call her no more with any problems, because she does not respond to Ward F.
Oh no, we all know that.
Okay, but my point is, I had an issue, and I inboxed Steve Flopper. He is on my Facebook page, about the little young man got killed on Boxwood that nobody came from to the funeral to represent the city. Last Tuesday, nobody knew. Remember we went to that Wednesday? Yeah. Last Tuesday, he was on the block. They came and got me. I caught up with them. I said, I don't want to inbox you. I got issues on Wilkinson Avenue. Yes, I do. It's the drug. Okay, nobody don't want to come. So I spoke to him. Now somebody's coming. He said, you could have called Miss Coleman. I said, Miss Coleman don't care nothing about me. Just like you don't care nothing about me. Because this is the biggest ward. You're going to get all these votes. But when you promised to take care of Jersey City, you did not think about Ward F. Everything is downtown.
Let me ask one quick question. How many people here are in favor of the reentry program being located where it is? Now, raise your hands. How many people here are in favor of the reentry program being located priorly in Central Park. In my opinion, I think that any institution or program that's located in the African American community, the first thing they should do is have a town hall meeting, invite everybody to that meeting, and let them express their opinion. That meeting with 5, 6, 7, 10 people, that's inappropriate as far as I'm concerned.
I'm a concerned parent.
From
I'm a
Sacred
concerned
Heart?
parent. Huh?
Are you from Sacred Heart?
My daughter is attending Sacred Heart this year.
Okay.
Now after I didn't turn my tuition money in, you know, got uniforms, I'm hearing about this $4.2 million that Sacred Heart accepted for this reentry program. Now I have nothing against a reentry program because everybody deserves a second chance, but I don't think it should be on this foundation. It shouldn't be there. I'm just not. And the reason why, and the fact that they didn't let me know, they didn't let, I guess, the people on baby know, the parents know, it's like a smack in the face. A lot of reentry programs, it's not the only one. It's one on Linden Avenue, it's one on
Linden?
Yes, Linden.
You got an address?
I don't know, over the Spanish store. It's one across the street from Trinity Faith Church on Fulton and the Boulevard. It's a lot of them. They're all over the place. And they try to play with the words, like say it's not a halfway house, but then you need correction officers, so they must gonna be residing on these premises. Because you wouldn't need the armed guards, police officers, all kinds of law enforcement if these people were allowed to leave.
And I represent the Jackson Hill Main Street Special Improvement District. So not only was the community not informed, nor was the District Management Corporation approved by the council in the city to manage the district was informed. So we've expressed our disdain for the presence of Martin's Place at the hub.
How did you do that?
We spoke out publicly about it. We went to city council, we met with Mr. McGreevey. We made it very clear that the mission of Jackson Hill was to economically and physically improve the district. MLK Drive is the main commercial artery that we have. We don't have it in Lafayette, it doesn't exist. Ocean Avenue's been chopped out. MLK Drive and Monticello are the only commercial corridor that we have in our community. And it is turning into what it's not there for. This is containment, people. This is a form of containment.
Yes.
Now we've got the most valuable commercial real estate housing reentry program, which quite personally I take offense that it's called Martin's Place.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now we have the CRC. I'm aware of other pockets, and let's not confuse housing with reentry programs. Listen, I know a lot of brothers and sisters out here that are part of programs that get placed in housing because they need to live somewhere too. So that I don't take issue, and if there have been complaints about residents that are reentry program residents in someone's building, then that should be spoken about, but we shouldn't mix the two issues. We've been fighting and advocating along with others to get policing. In order to bring MLK Drive back economically, we need to make sure it's safe. We have market analysis for this entire district. I can tell you how much money leaves this community every year for various basic goods and services that we don't have. We have liquor stores, we have an outrageous amount of quote-unquote convenience stores, bodega, depending on who you're talking to. We've got, I'm over with the 99-cent stores. Yeah, it's duplicate businesses over and over and over again. So we developed a business recruitment program. We had 221 prospects of businesses looking to move into districts like this one. Needed businesses, purposely solicited for needed businesses. We need shoe stores, we need clothing stores. Every summer I see baby carriages, and all the money spent on the child, what the child is sitting in, was not spent in this community. All I see is dollar signs floating up in the air.
I found out about this the first thing literally last Tuesday. So for the last week, literally every single day, almost the last 20 hours, every day has been invested in this. I just want to share some objective information with you first of all. The first phone call that I made was to Councilwoman Coleman, and I've made several phone calls. I've not gotten a return phone call back yet. Okay, that's just objective information. And she is the voice for this particular community. The next phone call I made was to Sister Francis, who is the principal of Sacred Heart. And I had a substantive conversation with her last week, but even more so today, because there's information that she did not give me last week, which today she and I had a very deep discussion about it. The third conversation I've had last Tuesday and Wednesday with a man named Mr. Bellios, Steve Bellios, who is the director from the Archdiocese. He is in control of the property and plants. That means all of the property is owned by the Archdiocese of Newark, what is being rented out in reference to charter schools, and hence since the priory, which is at Sacred Heart Church. I had a substantive conversation this morning, which was very productive, with Councilwoman at-large Waterman. I called her office, got her within a few minutes, and she spoke with me for quite some time. Before I go further with the information from the Archdiocese, what Councilman Waterman wants for the community to do is to get a petition, to start a petition, whether it's yay or nay, in reference to this piece of property that's going to be rented out for the reentry, because she needs to be able to have the voice of the community if they're against it. Okay, that's just the information.
For 1 minute. This is not Jim McGreevey's meeting.
That's right. Hey.
Yeah. This is our meeting.
So somebody obviously invited them. So.
Can I just finish
invited him?
I don't know.
Can I finish giving
Wait a minute, no.
information?
Do we want him at this meeting?
No.
Then we can ask security to please escort him from this meeting. Okay, so hold on a minute. This is Mr. McGreevey. Mr. McGreevey, this is a community meeting. We prefer to talk among ourselves. We would ask that you please leave.
I just,
We would ask that you please
is
leave.
that the consensus of everybody?
Yes. Yes.
Could
Because
I
if you go into your diatribe.
No, I'm not gonna go into any diatribe.
Mr. McGreevey, you've already interrupted our meeting. So respectfully, we would just prefer that you leave.
I just wanted to be here to listen.
No. Please just leave. Bye. Respectfully. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
God bless everyone.
God bless you too.
Thank you.
Now, the conversation that I had last week with the Archdiocese, and I raised several questions. One thing, the Archdiocese, all Catholic archdioceses in this country have a program that's called Protecting God's Children Workshop. And it's a very substantive program that deals with providing safe access and safety and protection around the children that participate in any activity that's related to anything or any building that's affiliated with the Catholic Church. So the first onus that I put on them was, how did they make an agreement to have this reentry program in the face of the program that we have that's called Protecting God's Children. I spoke to them, and I had an hour's conversation with the building plan. These are some of the facts that came out. That because supposedly the church is interested in protecting also the integrity of the school and wanting the viability of the school to go on, some of it came down to dollars and cents. That the plant, which is the priory, which is where the priest used to live, and the plant, which is the sacred space, which is the church, even though those buildings are closed, are still bleeding money out of the Archdiocese in reference to just basic things as sort of utility. Their thought was that at least in being able to rent that space out for whatever money is going to cover, I think it's about $35,000 a year to cover just the utilities of that space, would then avail them maybe funds to maybe help to facilitate the continuation of the school. I'm asking for that in writing.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
You know, I just wanted to say, if this is a done deal, we need to go to that meeting thinking about what it is we're going to make sure that happens from this point on. We need to be talking about how we're going to make sure, if this is a done deal, what they're going to have to do to ensure that our kids are safe.
Yes.
That's what we need to be thinking about, what we're going to say. It's one thing to talk about, yes, we have been, as usual, treated unfairly, we have been disrespected, but now, if this is done, we've got to move past that and get to what we're going to do about it.
Yes.
One thing that we can do about it in the future, and Assemblyman Maynard and I have talked about this already, we have a law in New Jersey now that there's a drug-free zone every 1,000 feet. I'm changing that to every 200 feet because the only ones going to jail was us.
Right.
And I want it to be an equal opportunity around the state. But we can also do a piece of legislation that says any re-entry program has to be within a certain amount of feet away from schools. That is something that we can work on that can go into effect within a few months. We also, and in Jersey City, the city council can do this themselves. They can have an ordinance that they create that uses the language that there are certain kinds of projects that cannot be put into Ward F without having a community meeting. That is something that the city can do, the council can do themselves. If they can't do it or won't do it, then we can also look at legislatively, Assemblyman Maynard, how we can do it on the state level that will affect at least the urban areas. So we need to start, we're prepared to move on these, but we all need to be prepared when we go there on Monday, what it is, we're going to be saying, okay, we're not happy with this, but if it's legally done, where do we go from here?
That's part of the problem. We don't know if it was legally done because we don't know what they're doing.
Right now, we know that there's been a 3-year lease signed.
There's a 3-year lease supposedly going forward.
It's a 3-year contract. The state parole board for the $4.2 million.
So this is
the
Archdiocese. That's what I was
Archdiocese.
trying to say before you come in. There's a 3-year, according to the Archdiocese, when I spoke with the representative, that their engagement with this is around a 3-year period of time. And that going forward, you know, whatever happened on either end. Even speaking with the principal, her feeling is that even watching what goes forward, if there seems to be ramifications and implications for the kids, that she's going to have a pullback. Senator Cunningham called and spoke with me substantively about this the other day in reference to if it's a done deal, as she said, those things that can be put in place. But we're not even talking about the $4 million in reference to McGreevey. We're talking about the actual leasing of the priory property itself, the use of that property.
The money coming from the state, let me just clarify this. Re-entry right now is probably one of the biggest topics in the state of New Jersey. It affects all of us on some level. Former Governor McGreevey, because he is a governor, he carries a great deal. Since he was governor. So when it comes before the state, it simply says $4.5 million for re-entry. We don't get any information as to if he's doing it in Newark, Jersey City, Camden, Patterson now, Trenton now, and where else? And Secaucus. So we don't get any of that information. All we get is this is going for re-entry. So it's not clear. But the $4.5 million has been earmarked for him. Our problem is he can still get that money and still have his re-entry program, but he can do it somewhere else. Our issue is how do we work with the Archdiocese to make sure that it's not done at Sacred Heart?
St. Mary's is available downtown.
And that's right.
I just want to say this.
Identify yourself.
My name is Jeff Douglas. I'm a former freeholder, very active, live in this community. I'm raising my kids here, and I was just upset with y'all when I heard about this. And I'm a committee person. I got a letter on a Friday or a Saturday, and this thing was happening on a Monday. So just because, listen, When I was a freeholder, I was for the prisoner reentry program. And the only reason I was for the prison, and still is for the prisoner reentry program, because we got to connect our families back together. Because we have a lot of families out there that don't have a mother or father in there. But what I don't want it to become is become a circus. And so, at the end of the day, that I always said this, when I was a freeholder, I told them, if you come to the community and talk to the community, we could together come up with a solution where we could put this prison reentry program. Because we're not against prison reentry, right, because we got to start turning our communities around. And if we don't help them brothers and sisters who keep constantly getting incarcerated. I sat on the public safety committee for the county all my time as a freeholder. And when I traveled to jail, it's probably 85% of us in them jails. And so how we gonna turn that around is by doing something or presenting a prison reentry program that's gonna turn their lives around. Now when they come out of jail, they have ID, they have a place to live, they get the resources they need, but I don't think the resources should be where our kids are going to school when our kids are playing. We have plenty of real estate in this city on the highway, on 440. They got it in Kearney. They don't necessarily have to be in Jersey City.
All right, so we cannot make legislation saying that you can't put the reentry program within 1,000 feet of school because there's nowhere to go. So you have to do it with at least 200 feet. That's maybe 2 or 3 or 4 blocks. Now, when we say 200 feet, it has to be in all directions. Now, I don't want to be the mean one to say that, you know, they had to use Sacred Heart. We understand that they need money. But there's a school on Egan West Side that's been closed down.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary's is closed down. And the reason they can't go there is because the community is not allowed. And if they come into ours and they just dress up with some flowers, then we'll accept it. But we're not going to make noise.
We're not unified.
Right. Thank you.